this is Salem Consultants presenting. We shall be streaming this event live on Facebook, and we shall also put this up on YouTube a lot later, so that we are able to just access the information and take notes if we need to, among other things. So we have done several topics so far. We have spoken about addictions, we have spoken about childhood trauma, we have spoken about how childhood trauma affects our relationships currently. We have also discussed how to heal our childhood trauma, and we can find all of this on YouTube and on Facebook as well. If you just follow Salem Consultants or Salem Media on YouTube, you'll be able to get this information. So we have currently spoken about the topics that we have discussed before. We are currently on an 8-week series, and this is now week 5. And we are very, very appreciative to everyone who has been able to join these sessions all this time. So today we are definitely going to be speaking about financial literacy. We are going to be speaking about money, our relationship with money, everything that there is that entails towards money. That is how we use it, why we use it the way we use it, whether there is any correlation between money and our emotions. We are going to be speaking about all of these things today. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave comments here on Zoom, leave comments on Facebook, leave comments on our WhatsApp numbers, and we will be able to get in touch and just respond to those particular questions. But just before that, if anyone is wondering who Salem Consultants is, Salem Consultants is an organization that is of holistic wellness, and this is spiritual wellness, this is emotional wellness or mental health wellness, and also physical wellness, because we have our very own Madam Anne Karambu, who is a nutritionist as well. So on top of being a psychologist, she is a nutritionist as well, and this is why Salem Consultants deal with all these 3 aspects of our lives that are needed so that we are able to just live a fulfilled life. So before we begin the session for today, maybe Madam Anne can just give us a brief introduction of herself, and then we can dive right into the topic. But just before she does, just a reminder, if you would like to facilitate our sessions, if you feel led to give any amount, will be appreciated. Please do so. Our till number is 4324682. The account number is Anne Karambu. My name is Emin Jambi. I am a psychologist at Salem Consultants as well, and I am very, very excited to see where the discussion for tonight leads us. Madam K, you're very welcome.
Thank you so much, Emmy. Thank you for that introduction. Thank you also for everyone that is together with us, both on Zoom and online. Thank you for being a part of us tonight. I believe that we will be able to learn and relearn. I think much of any time we get an opportunity to learn is an opportunity also to relearn, because many challenges we go through are things we learned, things we believe, things we have put in our mind, and we made them a part of our lives. And of course, they end up affecting us and even impacting how we live. So today we'll be talking about the psychology of money. I know maybe when you hear the part of money, we may be thinking of what percentage do I save? How can I be able to invest? Maybe all those other aspects. I know we have learned that in many other platforms, and I know we have this information out there on, of course, how to use money. But one of the challenges I've realized is that, yes, you may be having very good teachings on money. You may even be a financial expert, but still, if your relationship with money is not right, or it is not aligned to the healthy way, you will find yourself getting into debts, getting into a lot of challenges, having relationship problems. Remember, this platform is talking more about how we relate with maybe our spouses, or how we relate with even our partners, how we relate with our friends. So the psychology, understanding the psychology of money, or why I use money the way I use, or what does money heal in my heart? What does money heal in my life? Why do I purchase things the way I do? Why do I want to go for that holiday? Why is it that I want to live in that particular environment I want to live in? So once we are able to understand this, then it is going to help us to make right choices, healthy financial choices, and also live a liberated life. As we discussed tonight, we also realize that when our relationship with money is not right, we end up becoming slaves of the money. So there is always a statement I make, and I say it is either you are serving money, or money is serving you. It is either you are serving money, or money is serving you. So we want to move from serving money to allowing money to serve us, so that we don't become slaves to money, but we can be the master of the money. I know, of course, when our mental wellness is not aligned to how we relate with money, we end up, money now becomes our master. It becomes the one that controls us. And that's why you see somebody can do anything just to get money. In such a case, it is money controlling the person. Sometimes it does not matter whether this particular thing that I am doing is hurting me or not, but as long as I will get money, then if that is the case, there is a problem. So I will begin our conversation briefly before we get into the section of just interacting with the questions. I'll make a few quotes here, that not all success is due to hard work, and not all poverty is due to laziness. It is not all success is due to hard work, and not all poverty is due to laziness. So being a hard worker does not necessarily mean that you will make a lot of money. We know very well, especially even in our setup, that people who work the hardest, people who do very heavy manual jobs, are the ones who earn, on most occasions, the least. Sometimes even poverty does not come because someone is lazy. Poverty will come sometimes because of how we relate with money, regardless of the amount. Spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money. Spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money. So if every single shilling we spend, be it buying clothes, where we live, the car I drive, the makeup I use, everything, every single coin I spend it to show people, that is the fastest way of having less money, because I will never be satisfied. So I will always find myself trying to satisfy. And sometimes I imagine how we are satisfying a hole that cannot be satisfied. Saving can be created by spending less. Saving can be created by spending less, you can spend less if you desire less, if you care less about what others think of you. Saving can be created by spending less. You can spend less if you desire less, if you care less about what others think. Now, there are three aspects here. We can be able to save more money if we spend less. So I can limit on what I spend. But what I spend is informed by the desires I fulfill by spending. What I will spend and how I will spend is determined by the desire that I am fulfilling as I am spending. The desire I'm fulfilling is determined by how much I care, how other people think about me. There's somebody who will get into who will be earning very little money and get into a house of maybe 3-bedroomed house, not because they have people living in that house, but they are taking that house to be able to, because at the back of the mind, the question is, what will people think when I am living where I'm living? What will people say when I am going through, or maybe when they see me coming out of that plot? So really, you are not living in that house to satisfy you, but you are living in that house because you are uncomfortable with what people think about you. Now, this is directly connected with our self-concept, the one we talked about last time. And you realize that's why then self-concept is so key, because the moment I have positive self-concept, I will be comfortable with myself before I start thinking about what other people think. So this means then, even my spending is going to be directly controlled by by whether my self-concept is positive or negative. How you handle money is linked to your psychological experiences. Now, how we handle money, the relationship we have with money is highly related to the experiences we've had in the past. I know sometimes, even as we are talking about this, I know we even have types of spenders, and we have even read ways of spending. But allow me to say that we spend according to our psychological experiences. And especially when someone has not healed. So you find yourself, you're spending in a certain way, maybe to heal a need that is within. And most of the times, these needs are unconscious. You don't really know whether that is what you're healing. So maybe the next time as you get, reach out to that shoe, reach out to that dress, maybe pay that house rent, it is good to ask yourself, which need are you satisfying? Financial success is not about intelligence, but behavioral skills. Financial success is not about intelligence, but behavioral skills. So it is not how intelligent I am. It is not how much, it is not how many books I have read on finances. It is my behavioral skills. How have I been able to deal with my mental wellness? How comfortable am I about me? How have I dealt with my belief systems? How have I been able to look at myself and I am comfortable with who I am? Because if I am not, then I will use money to complement what I do not have. So our connection with money is rooted in emotions like fear, greed, pride, envy, social comparisons that shape our psychological relationship with money. Our connection with money is rooted in emotions like fear, greed, pride, envy, social comparison that shape our psychological relationship with money. Allow maybe to just explain each of these emotions. If I am using money, if my use for money is fear motivated, so maybe I spend or I save as much as I can because I fear to be poor, because I grew up in a poor environment, or I grew up in scarce. Allow me to digress a little bit and talk about Africa when we are talking about this. The greatest problem we are having in Africa, it is not an issue of corruption, it is not an issue of governance, it is not an issue of leadership. The problem we have in Africa with how we use resources is a behavioral problem. It is in the mind. The reason as to why when we get into power, people get into any form of power, be it the chief to the highest rank of leadership, the first intention, the first mindset, remember we are coming from an era of poverty. And we can comfortably say that Africa, we really don't have 2-3 generations that have not suffered poverty. So because of a lot of lack, coming from a lot of lack, which we have not healed from, when we meet resources, we start relating with them from a position of fear. And because I am fearing to be poor again, I will accumulate as much as I can, even if it will require killing somebody to get it. And even if it means I will steal from my neighbor, so that I am the one having and not anybody else, because I am securing my future. I know I am touching some buttons here. The other one is greed. Again, greed comes from lack. Greed will come from, again, lack. So because I have this appetite for so many good things and I want as many as possible, and remember, a greed is like a bottomless pit. Greed is like a bottomless pit. It cannot be filled. So I am using money. My relationship with money is from that point of greed. So if I access money, I want to use as much as I can, have it for myself. The other one is pride. Show off. What will people say? I want to drive the best car. I want to go to the best destination. I mean, every holiday I want to share photos online of where I have gone, where I have traveled, and all this. Pride. I am relating with money from the point of that is what gives me worth. I don't have self-worth. I'm not comfortable with who I am. What gives me comfort is maybe the kind of shoe I wear. It is the dress I am in. It is the car I am driving. And I am not saying these things are bad. I'm only saying it is important to check ourselves and understand why and how we spend money. Because if we want financial freedom, if we want money to serve us, there is no way we can be able to use money to serve us when then still I am using money to gain pride or to feel good about myself. The other way we relate with money is from the point of envy. So I went to my friend, or I grew up maybe in an environment where people are showing off. And because maybe you came from a very poor environment, you are really desiring to have things that you saw your neighbors have. So when you get money, you start relating with money from a point of envy. So you are envious of the other person. So even if it means stealing from them so that you have and they don't have, that is what you will do. The other one, of course, there is the aspect of social comparison. This is what we suffered after colonialism. When our colonial masters came to Africa, we developed a master-slave relationship with money. So when we got money, all of us found ourselves wanting to be like what our colonial masters used to have. What we saw the colonial master having, we thought that is what brings success. And that's why, of course, a few generations back, it was about go to school and study so that you can buy a car. Go to school and study so that you can have a big house. Our parents had seen the colonial master doing those things. And because, of course, they would be able to speak good English, they knew now when somebody gets a lot of money, they become like the colonial master. I know, again, I am touching some buttons here. So social comparisons. Those who came from the village like me, people who come from the village, when they come to town, there's a way people who come from town behave. Sorry. So the person from the village wants to compare themselves with the person from the city. And there is a way they will spend money so that they can be able to reach that level. So imagine now if this is how I am relating with money and we are in a marriage relationship. You can imagine how much we will fight. Because either I am relating with money from the place of fear, I am relating with money from the place of greed, I am relating with money from the place of pride, envy, social comparison, and the other one maybe is on an extreme direction. We will fight. No wonder we need to heal and have a relationship with money that is healed. Our backgrounds and experiences make all the difference to our risk tolerance. Our backgrounds and experiences make all the difference to our risk tolerance. Anytime you want to grow money, there is no money that cannot be grown. From 100 shillings to 1,000,000, any money can be grown or can be able to multiply. But what determines whether you will grow that money is your level of risk tolerance. How tolerant are you to risk? Because saving means putting down 100 shillings instead of using it, so that these 100 shillings can be able to give me another 100 shillings tomorrow. So I fail to use the 100 shillings today, that is taking a risk. I put it in a place where it can be able to give me another 100 shillings tomorrow. So what informs that is my background and experiences. For people who maybe grew up in an environment of lack, and I'll be able to get to that as we continue. If you grew up from an environment of lack, what happens is that you might become stingy, or you become an overspender. So if the way you have adopted of relating with money is from that of a stingy person, saving might be very hard. not saving, spending. If you have taken the overspender, you might find yourself spending even that which you're supposed to be saving. So again, our backgrounds determine a lot how we spend money. The next one is, of course, true financial wealth lies in the unseen financial assets. True financial wealth lies in the unseen financial assets. If your mindset is that of a spender, we will go for luxurious cars, we will go for very expensive wear, we will go for living in luxurious estates. All these assets are visible. They are things I can see. But the truth is that it is the unseen assets that gives us true wealth. I am talking about land. I am talking about stocks. Those ones cannot be seen anywhere. Money that maybe we have saved or we've bought boards, or we have saved in the money market, or we have bought investments with insurance companies. I mean, those ones are not visible. They will not be seen anywhere. But they are the greatest sources of wealth. Having the latest iPhone does not qualify you to be wealthy, because you might have bought it to satisfy those emotions we talked about up there. And the truth is that those visible assets, most of them depreciate value upon purchase. If today I went and bought an iPhone, as long as I have unpacked it, I cannot sell it from the same value that I bought. But the good thing with those unseen assets is that I can be able to buy today at a certain price, and tomorrow it would have increased, even if it is by 2%. I think we will talk about that later. So sometimes I may be thinking I'm wealthy, but I'm just having these visible assets, which if we were to talk about that maybe later, we will call them, some of them, we just call them liabilities rather than assets. Your money habits come from your unique life experiences, your savings, investing, and spending habits. So we spend, we save, we invest from our life experiences. And that's why healing is so important. Because if I have not healed, especially from trauma, I can even be using money to heal trauma. Look at people who are in addiction. The amount of money someone uses to heal pain or stress. Some of them will tell you, I am drinking because I am stressed. And it is true. A bigger percentage of people who are in serious alcoholism and drug and substance abuse are people who are hurting. Are they using money? Yes. How we even spend money in terms of entertainment, again, is highly determined by our life experiences. So good investing, saving a substantial amount of income and adopting a humble lifestyle can increase your savings by resisting the urge to keep up with others. Now, we are talking now maybe about healing from these wrong relationships with money. So we have to be having to adopt a humble lifestyle. Learn to begin down as we grow. Many of us, especially young people, we somehow, when we are relating with resources or money, we think in terms of big investments. You hear someone talking about, I want to be driving a car by the age of 25. And of course, that person is saying, I will have bought for myself. And I will have bought my own apartment, those things. But the truth is that these things are not practical. I was talking to a young person, and we were talking about, of course, a first job. On most occasions, our first jobs in Kenya will be between 20 and 30,000. How can 20 or 30,000 or even 50 buy for us a car by the time we are 25? But if I am prudent and I begin humble, that 50,000 can be able to buy me a car maybe in 2 years, depending on how I spend this little that I have. But remember, my spending will be highly determined by my experiences. So if I'm spending from the perspective of being stingy or of a compensation, it is going to affect how I spend. So how we utilize the opportunities presented to us and the risks we are willing to take determine how we grow our finances. Now, remember, we have talked about humility, beginning small. And remember, we said allowing money to serve us rather than us serving money. And it's like we are worshiping money. So if we are willing to begin small, we will grow. The next one is that we've just said that, of course, the opportunities that are presented to us, how do we manage them? If I have an opportunity of earning 2,000 per day, how did I manage that opportunity before I have an opportunity of earning 10,000 per day? So how I manage the opportunities that come my way determines how I will grow my finances. Sometimes you will find, again, because of the same problem of our experiences, remember, I am satisfying emotional needs. So I am looking at my class college mates and I'm wondering, hey, where are they working? Which car are they driving? Where are they living? And I was there. Even as I talk, I remember very well when I was in my 20s, I was right there. I remember my first salary was, I think it was less than 10,000. And the people we were with in class, some of them were earning over 40K and over 50, that as their first salary. There is a likelihood of starting to compare yourself with that one to the extent that you cannot even be able to appreciate this little that you are getting. And because you are not appreciating it, even the way you spend with the attitude of struggling to reach where that other person that you're desiring to be like is at. So you will never value this little because you are comparing and looking at it with the eyes of the one who is earning more. And maybe a little example, one of the things that happened that time when I was there, because I remember I was there where I'm just explaining. I remember when I had little money. According to me, I thought it was little. In Nairobi that time, there were portions of land that were costing us as little as 50,000. I could have afforded even 3 or 4. of those portions of land. But because my mindset was, I don't have enough, I never saw the opportunities that were presented before me. I am talking about years when places like Roy, places like Kitengela, those places, land was being sold as shares. So the share certificates, they used to be very cheap. I have a whole story there of a share certificate that was once costing 6,000. And we had the ability to buy that share at 6,000. But because my mindset is telling me this money that I have is little, I was not able to see the opportunity that was presented before me then. I thank God because at least I was able to learn the lesson very fast. And it did not take long before we were able to bounce back and be able to pick those opportunities that were before us. So the ability to endure is a cornerstone of financial strategy. Always have a well-defined plan. Now, as we are getting opportunities, there are opportunities also that will be lost. You might begin a business with very high prospects. You are imagining that I will be able to get a lot of money. And of course, when you have just begun, even before you peak, it collapses. So we must have the power to survive failure with finances. But imagine now, if my relationship with money was that money is what was giving me worth, what is going to happen is that I'll feel worthless because I don't have money. So that's why money then cannot be the one that is defining us. We must allow money to serve us, not us to serve money. So survival, how I bounce back after a downfall matters. What kind of plan? What plan do I have? What financial plan have I put? And remember again, when we were talking about self-concept, self-concept, we said, is determined one by our self-image. How do we look at ourselves? Remember, no body image. Body image, again, look at how much we spend because we don't like maybe how we look. We don't like the color of our skin. We don't like our hair, especially African hair. I don't understand why we should be using so much money on wig, artificial hair. You put 200,000 on your head just to look like remember the master mentality we talked about? So again, when my body image has a problem, I will spend a lot of money because I have a negative body image. Again, my plan, my future plan will be determined by my self-esteem. Do I believe in myself? Do I believe in my abilities? Do I believe that what I do can be able to produce something that can earn me money? That is self-image. Do I believe in my potential? That is the only way I will be able to showcase it to the world, and it will be able to earn me money. Learn to embrace failure and errors because they are inevitable. Even as we interact with money, we will lose money. As we interact with money, we will lose money. As we begin businesses, businesses will collapse. So it is good to have the power, the tenacity to hold, because we cannot be able to avoid them. And the good thing about even financial failures and the failures that we have even in life is that they are life lessons that have, they change our lives. But it depends with how we view them. Again, it goes back to our mind. Self-awareness is key to how we manage finances and how we invest, how well we know ourselves, how well we have appreciated ourselves, how well we believe in ourselves will highly determine how we spend and how we invest. So a little bit very fast, toxic relationship with money. Wanting to show off everything you buy, that is toxic. I mean, everywhere you go, when you get to the airport, you want to go and you're like, airport manenos, you get to your destination of where you're going. It's better you just look for a slogan to write so that people can be able to see that you are in a certain airport or in a certain country. No, toxic. Always being worried about your balance in the bank. When your worth is coming from the balance in the bank, there's a problem. The problem is not with how much money you have. The problem is with how you believe in yourself. If we can be able to look back a little bit, maybe the parents of our parents or our parents, they did not used to have a lot of money, but they used to live with a lot of confidence. So our worth is not determined by the zeros that accompany the money that is in the bank. That is not your worth. Defining your worth in line with how much money you have. So when you hear people talking about money, you shut up because you're imagining you should not even be talking in such a forum. Money does not give you a name. Feeling embarrassed, yes, to talk about money, I think I've talked about that. Always wanting to accumulate as much because you fear to be poor. And I pray sometimes these people who embezzle public funds, I wish we can be able to reach to this place. Because even when you accumulate as much as you have, the other day I was talking about people having 10 cars in their compound. That does not give you worth. It is a toxic relationship with money. They can be 10 cars if they are all working, or all of them maybe are being used in your company. But if I've just parked them there to show people how many cars I have a big problem. We can explain a little bit about financial trauma. Is categorized as experiences of extreme financial distress, such as bankruptcy, foreclosure, a significant loss of income that profoundly impacts a person's sense of security and well-being. So financial trauma is categorized as experiences of extreme financial distress, such as bankruptcy, foreclosure, or significant loss of income that profoundly impacts a person's sense of security and well-being. So somebody can experience a financial trauma after maybe loss of a job, loss of finances, or maybe someone, you can give somebody money and they don't return, or maybe loss of income, or even things like natural disasters, like the floods that came and swept everything that somebody had. Those are things that would cause financial trauma. And what, of course, they will leave a person feeling is you'll be feeling inadequate. Now, imagine if this that you have lost is where you had held all your hope and trust in. And I think that's why the Bible says, what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses their soul? Because you can easily gain wealth and riches to the point that you are not even living. You have money, but you are not living. And of course, you realize people who have these toxic relationships with money have a lot, they rarely have peace. They will not even sleep Because you're wondering who might be after me, who might be wanting to steal from me. I mean, that is too much. I know this conversation is not very interesting, but I know even as I am talking about it, I am talking to myself too. We can use our finances from a position of trauma. So I think that one we've been able to get and understand in our conversation today. One can either overspend to compensate for not having a regular source of income, or one can withhold to avoid getting poor again. So I think I've explained those two scenarios, being stingy or being reckless. The stingy is withholding. So you don't want to spend because you are fearing to be poor. Or you overspend because you are compensating the lack you experienced in the past. So this mindset comes from the fear of returning to the past struggles, forcing people to hold money and other things to protect themselves from this uncertain future. I pray that we heal, especially Africa. I pray that we heal. We would not be in the mess we are in as a continent if we had healed from this mess of the mindset of poverty. The mindset of poverty is the one that makes us steal medicine that is meant for sick people. You steal and go and sell. And your conscience cannot even ask you, what did I just do? Money that is meant to build roads that you will use. We go and steal half of it. And we are very excited because we bought this big car, again, to satisfy our financial trauma. I pray that we heal. Identity encompasses various aspects such as cultural backgrounds, socioeconomic status, upbringing, self-concept, values, beliefs, and life experiences. All these impact how we relate with money. Now, the things I've just mentioned here are the ones that form our identity. One, cultural backgrounds, socioeconomic status, upbringing, the families we grew up in, self-concept, how is it negative or positive, our values. If, of course, although I am praying for Africa, if we have godly values, if we have values that value humanity, we will not use humanity to earn money. The other day I was talking about an aspect we are in, again, as Africa, of looking at the poor and earning from them. And I was talking about we have made the poor to become like ornaments of poverty. We wear them when we want to use them. And immediately we have used them and we are done with using them, we discard. And we wouldn't want them to get out of our environment because we are earning from them. I'm talking about, of course, when we will go looking for donor money. We take very nice photos of needy people. Once the money comes, the needy person will never get that money. It will remain in our pockets. We do that when we have warped value systems. Our values are rotten in the mind. Remember, all these things are in the mind. And that's why we are talking about the psychology of money. There is then beliefs. If you have grown up and you believe that status is about big cars, big nice houses, living, I mean, that if that is the belief system you have, definitely it is going to define how you use money. Our life experiences, and I'm talking about the past life experiences, including loss of jobs, including businesses that have collapsed. All those things will impact how we relate with money. So belief on money, lack of safety in self-expression. We might avoid financial opportunities due to lack of self-worth. Doubt about physical strength, that is chronic health can lead to feelings of inadequacy. Of course, when you're unwell, you may not believe that you can be able to earn money. And then the fear of financial stability, that is past experiences that have brought instability. I know this is a wide topic. We may not be able to really capture everything, but I believe I have provoked our mind a little bit to understand that, yes, I can go to the best of financial schools, but until I understand the psychology of money, I will relate with money the wrong way. And because I am relating with money the wrong way, I'll find myself relating with other people the wrong way. Thank you. Emmy, you can come.
Well, Madam K, again, you have just completely managed to enter our brains and stir things up in there and just help us to just question the things that we need to be questioning so that we find ourselves in the right place at the right time. Because I think my take home for today is that my self-worth is not tied to the amount of money I have or the amount of money in my bank account, which is where many people go wrong. And that if my self-image is positive, then it will help me with the confidence to feel or to know that I can offer something to the world in terms of my gifts and talents and be able to earn from that. So thank you for just this absolutely thought-provoking discussion that you have brought. And I think we shouldn't end there because it felt like there was so much more for you to share with us. I hope people have taken their notes because, as you can see, I have taken so many notes here. So I hope the rest of the community was doing the same as well. Once again, to thank you, Madam K, for just taking the time to share with us this information. We really don't take it for granted, and we appreciate you and we appreciate your time. So just like we have been doing, I can see time has really gone today, but we shall try to make this as quick as possible. So someone has sent in a question and they say, does it mean that being financially stable or responsible means I should not enjoy my hard-earned money?
Of course, it does not mean that. I believe as we were talking, you realized it is just asking ourselves, it is just that answering that question, why do I spend money the way I do? So yes, you can enjoy, you can have fun, you can entertain yourself. And of course, we said that we allow money to serve us rather than us becoming slaves to money. So money is supposed to facilitate us in doing things, including, of course, paying for our enjoyment, paying for luxury, paying for all those things. But then it should not be our source of joy.
Madam K, I think I will just start printing the t-shirts. In fact, I will stop asking for permission because you have said something so profound. You have said money should facilitate our lives, but it should not be our source of, did you say joy
Yes, joy.
or our source of joy? That is a point that I think should just be printed, put on every poster so that everybody can actually have or come into contact with it, because the fact that you have spoken about how trauma can come into play, how when we were born, where we were born into, is really affecting even the kind of societal issues we are facing right now. I think that was it was just eye-opening, and actually it was tied to a question that someone had asked and sent in, and someone said, I think this is just to solidify the statement that you said, as opposed to being an actual question. But if you feel the need to say something else, kindly do. This person said, my friend is vying for a seat in government or a parastatal. His motive worries me a bit because he says his first mission is to know is to know how and where to loot. They said in quotes, lazima nifagie kwanza, nitatajirika lini. This makes me feel like the cycle will never end. What should I say to him?
I know you're talking about that friend, but that is unfortunately the state we are in. Not only as a nation, but it is unfortunate that this crept even into the church. One way of healing this menace is knowing that resources and money that God has given us, because money is not the only wealth that we have. God has given us resources as stewards. We hold resources on behalf of God. We hold resources on behalf of God. And we hold to pass to the next person around us. So anything that we have is not ours. Anything we have is not ours. We are holding it for a time so that we can pass it to the next. Now, what happens when you become greedy is that you retain only what you have. And because it is supposed to pass from you to the other person, you block the flow. So what our leaders and any other greedy person does, especially in a position of leadership, the moment you accumulate to yourself alone, you block the flow. So that which was supposed to have come passing through you, reaching to as many as possible, stops getting to them because you blocked the channel. That is what greed does. The other day I gave an example of greed. And I talked about the monkey that was served with a lot of that went and found so many bananas. And because the owner of the bananas was to come, and of course the monkeys did not know that the owner of the bananas was to come. So there were these monkeys that were eating as they throw to others. But there are also these monkeys that never ate a single one. They only accumulated all of them, as many as possible, holding to them. Of course, when the owner came, they had to run away. So the only one who benefited is the one who at least threw to the one who was a little bit far and the one who was eating. So greed is accumulating to yourself. Even as we talk about money, I said here it is holistic wellness. Even as we talk about money and accumulation of wealth, allow me to say, as I began by saying, that we are stewards. We hold on behalf of God for a season. I know all of us have attended burials. The very last one I attended of a very close person was my dad's. And everything he had, he left. The only thing that he was buried with was the clothes we put him on, and we are the ones who are deciding what we were putting him on. He left the bank accounts, he left the houses, he left the land. That is what each and every one of us will do. So whether we get to power and we accumulate it to ourselves, it will go back to the owner, who is God. The only thing we will have done, we will have denied the people who would have benefited from what we withheld. So that is the much I can say to that person and the other leaders.
I feel like this is very personal. I feel like this conversation is too personal. And I think that analogy and that small story that you have given about the monkey and the bananas, I feel like that is such a profound way of looking at greed, in a way that this has basically, the monkeys were basically robbing themselves of, one, the enjoyment, two, the fulfillment that would have come from eating the bananas, and three, from just being able to enjoy the experience that they were in at that time, because they were looking at something completely different, yet they ended up with nothing. So wow, thank you for putting it in that way. I think that is the way this person should just go and tell their friend who is vying for that seat, and hopefully we are going to end up having a different breed of people in power, so that we can just start seeing this cycle changing, not only in our country but even in Africa as a whole. So thank you for that, Madam K. Someone else asked a different question. I feel like I have to give back so much at home, which I feel is preventing my individual growth and personal goals. If I stop, I feel guilty. If I continue, I feel pressured. What should I do?
This is a challenge, especially for us. Again, this again comes from our experiences. Remember, many of us come from families where parents really struggled to just make us become even what we are. But you cannot give what you don't have. As much as, yes, the parents sacrificed, we don't have the ability to give what we do not have. And if you overstretch yourself beyond what you can give, what will happen is that, one, you will be giving from a point of grudge. You're not giving joyfully, but you're giving because you have been coerced to give. That way of giving does not bring satisfaction. So it is, look at your finances, look at what you are able to get. After looking at your expenses and looking at your what you are able, maybe definitely to save, also determine that which you can afford to be giving. And because you have given out of a clean heart, whether the other person appreciates or not, you will be at peace, because you know you gave from the heart. What happens if you overdo the giving? The truth is, as much as you are helping that person that you want to help, if you don't save, because savings is for that day when you're not able to work. Savings are for that day when you don't have money. Savings are for that day that you find yourself incapacitated and not able to go work to get money. Now, if you give and even give the savings, this day that you will not be having, what will you give? So you will have again deprived even the person you are helping of the support they would have gotten had you standardized it to the level that you can be able to manage. So giving needs to come definitely from the heart. Avoid giving from a point of grudge or like you're feeling coerced, and give what you can comfortably be able to give. I know this is a conversation, a personal conversation I've had with so many young people. And sometimes there is that a feeling of guilt that I cannot even be able to do for myself something because I feel like I have deprived my parent. I said you cannot give what you do not have. So as much as you can be able to satisfy the basic need that is there for them, feel comfortable and appreciate yourself that you can be able to do that. Your giving should not be determined by their reaction. It should be determined by the state of heart. How do you feel about what you have given?
Okay. I'm even taking notes. I'm forgetting to give you more questions. Thank you. I think that was such a good explanation and it sounds easy, but I think that is something that is going to be very helpful and practical to a lot of people. And I know that's not just for young people. This is a conversation that not only young people can benefit from. So this is a conversation our parents can have. This is a conversation they can watch and learn from, even where they are right now. So thank you, Madam K. And I feel like that particular part where you have said you should be at peace by checking what you can afford to give. Especially after saving, so that you are also not giving begrudgingly, but you are giving from a cheerful place and from a cheerful state of heart and mind. That's so profound. And these t-shirts, we are going to be selling merchandise soon, and I think I will be doing that personally to make more money. Yes, Madam K. Okay, so someone else put in a question, and this is more on the intimate side of relationships, and they said, my partner and I do not discuss money openly. I feel as though my money is my money and his money is our money. What is wrong with this?
Now, we were talking about our relationship with money and how healthy our relationship with money is will determine how our interpersonal relationship will be. I said how healthy our relationship with money is will determine how our interpersonal relationship with each other will be. One of the breaking points of many relationships is money. And it is not money, it is the relationship with money. How would I be comfortable giving somebody my body, but I am not comfortable giving somebody my money? What is more valuable?
My body.
So if I am not liberated in my mind about my relationship with money, I will think money is more valuable than my body. So it will be very easy to give my body, but not my money. And that's why we have reached a place where we are selling our body for money. That's what I said. We should not be slaves to money. Money should be the money should serve us. We should not serve money. Now, if I am to heal my relationship with my partner, I need to heal my relationship with money. Emmy, I am assuring you this does not have any other side. We can go open the same account and both of us are signatories. But because my relationship with money is not good, I will open a secret account. So until I have been able to have a healthy relationship with money, that is when I will have a healthy relationship with each other. There is that part of, and of course, my money is my money and his money is our money. Again, comes again still from our relationship with money. When a husband and a wife are building a home, whose home is that?
Theirs, together.
So how can the home be theirs and the money is not theirs? When we get children, whose children are these?
Both.
They are ours. So at what point will I separate children so that my children are mine and he has his? So you realize because of the problem with our relationship with money, it affects even basic reasoning things. If we cook food at home and because we are a couple, how do we separate food that is in the plate to know whose money is that money which is in the plate? So our relationship with money should be so healed such that whether we have separate accounts, whether we have joint accounts, whether one has more money than the other, because our relationship with money is healed, it also heals our relationship with one another. And I am not assuming that I don't know we have people who misuse money. Again, misuse of money is determined by our relationship with money. So in such scenarios, if I realize maybe my partner wastes money, I'll require to know how to navigate that and be able to use money prudently, a little bit more prudently. But it should not destroy our relationship with each other. Not unless my relationship with money is not healed.
Wow. When I have a healthy relationship with money, then my journey to healing my relationship with my partner will be done. I don't know. I feel like this conversation, I wish we could just put it in the news or something so that so many people could see this particular conversation, because it is really going to assist those who are yet to be married, those who are married, and even those who are, parents, and every other person, as long as they are relating with other people. So once again, Madam K, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um Someone, now that we are talking about relationships and money, someone says, my husband and I run several businesses together, and we have several businesses running. Sorry, and we have several projects running at the same time. But my friends and family tell me that we have a toxic relationship and are suffocating each other. Is that true? I feel like this really works well for us.
Help me get the first part.
Mm-hmm. Let me come again. My husband and I run several businesses together, and we have several projects running at the same time. But my friends and family tell me that we have a toxic relationship and are suffocating each other. Is that true? I feel like it is working really well for us.
So the toxicity is coming because we are doing things together.
Yes, the
All the
friends and
businesses,
family.
all the businesses we are doing, we do them together.
Yes, the businesses and the running projects are together, but the friends and family say that the relationship is toxic and that they are suffocating each other.
Now the family and friends are defining that relationship from their viewpoint. It is not from the actual point of this couple. So remember, we said our relationship with money is determined by our experiences. So this family, friends are defining this relationship, which is not theirs, from their view, and from their experiences. Remember their beliefs that a husband and a wife cannot work in the same office, cannot do the same business, cannot do things together. And if they do that, it is defined that those people are controlling each other. It might be what is being put toxic. So again, the question lies with you as a person. What do you feel? Not how other people feel. Because they're not in your heart, they're not in your mind. So they don't know how you feel. So you're the one who knows whether it is toxic or not. And the fact that you're able to do so many things together, it means something is working. So those people might be defining you from their viewpoint, and that does not hold water.
Wow. Thank you for bringing that, because clearly the relationship is working not only from their own feelings or perspective, but by the fact that they have several, more than one business that is successful and their projects together. I think, yeah, the family and friends clearly need to mind their own business and just come to see whether they are also looking at it from their own traumas, or maybe if there's something that they might need to realign or learn even from this particular couple that seems to be doing really well. So kudos to them, I think. Okay. Another question concerning family and money as well. Someone says, my father often beats my mom a lot and keeps asking, what are you lacking? I decided not to get into a relationship until I am well settled in my career and will always have money set aside for a rainy day. This seems right to me. However, I feel like it is coming from a place of pain. How should I go about it?
That reads like a book. Kindly repeat the question.
Okay. Okay. My father often beats my mom a lot and keeps asking, what are you lacking? I decided not to get into a relationship until I am well settled in my career and will always have money set aside for a rainy day. This seems right to me. However, I feel like it is coming from a place of pain. What should I do?
um we learn of course there's what is called social learning. We learn from our environment, we learn from what we interact with. we, on most occasions, we are what we experienced. We are the things that happened around us. That is what informs highly who we are. And of course, what happens is if the environment we grew up in, and I think this is what I was explaining, if I grew up in an environment where I saw my mom being beaten up because she did not have money, I will tell myself, so that I don't get beaten up the way I saw my mother, I must get money at all costs. And that's why I said many of our relationships with money, how we interact with money, how we save, how we even how we steal money. We do all these things from a place of past experiences. Even this person who was asking about my money is my money and his money is my money. Again, it is from the point of the experiences. Maybe in their family, it is money was only from the father. The mother was not giving their money. And this is what you have seen over the years. So you have already learned that. And that's why I said we will do a lot of unlearning and learning. And some of these things we are talking about here may not make sense to somebody because you have learned this particular way that it is so engraved in your heart that unlearning is very hard. And that's why normally therapy is not easy. Therapy, we say it is work because there is a lot of replacing old beliefs, old thoughts, and realigning them to the truth. So yes, the person is behaving the way they are because of the trauma they grew up in, and that is now the money trauma. The way now they saw their parents behaving. For somebody to be able to change that, you have to relearn. And also ask yourself, what is the truth? What is the truth? Is it really that I cannot be able to survive without money? Is it that I am useless if I don't have money? So those are then the things that you'll have to really go back and reaffirm them for yourself. So again, we go back to what we said, reparenting. So you will reformat yourself from the environment you grew up in and believe different. Because if you don't believe different, you will align yourself to your family of origin.
I think it's very important for everyone to just understand that clearly there is a pattern of trauma that is coming up that might be leading to our spending or saving habits or everything. But it's very important to know that where you are, there is hope. You just need to learn, you need to relearn some things, you need to unlearn others. So it's not a matter of if you are on this side of the spectrum, then you are doomed, or if you're on this side of the spectrum, then you have nothing more to gain or nothing more to learn. It is definitely a learning experience, and once you get that into your mind and you do the work intentionally, then you can actually make it through with this financial education and the kinds of relationships that you will be able to foster and even grow for yourself. I think we have time for maybe one more question. And this is a very interesting one, which I know a lot of maybe our moms, our aunties, even ourselves might be going through. So maybe you can answer this one and then we can see where to go from here. They said, I joined a chama thinking it would elevate me and help me with my finances. However, find myself purchasing new things and furnishing my house afresh every time there is a meeting. Are they all this way? And why do I feel so stressed?
Um, okay, Chama. Okay, a Chama is simply me giving 1,000 every month to someone with the hope that after 12 months or after 30 months, I will be given that money when it is 30. But it is my money I gave. That is what a Chama is. I know many of us and many women really believe that Chama earns them a lot of money. But allow me to say that I am very normally skeptical in terms of growth of Chamas. You see, if we are 30, I will give 1,000 for 30 months. But because this is a Chama which I have to appear physically and participate physically, on top of this 1,000 that I'm giving, I will use transport. I am going to use time, sometimes 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, just to be able to like sidikisha this 1,000 that I carry to this Chama every month. But really, this 1,000 is not earning me anything. I will only be given that 1,000 back 30 months later. Maybe if I am doing social networking, that is one of the things that I will gain. I will have a social network. I'll be having a people, because most chamas have welfare. So in case I have an event, I'll have a large number of people I can call. I can have friends. But in terms of financial gain, there is no financial gain in that experience. Now, there is this question where the question is, of course, on pressure. Now, that is social pressure. So because you visited person A, and person A had a big fridge, because you are not comfortable with yourself, you have not healed financially. You don't have a good relationship with money. So you will buy your worth by buying a fridge like that of your friend. And when you visit person C, you realize they have a new chair. And because your worth is from material possessions, again, you will struggle to buy a chair, not for yourself. It is so that when they come to visit, they find a new chair. So personally, I don't know how I will be gaining from that. Apart from that relationship giving me stress, I'm not understanding how I will have benefited from it. But if I am healthy, if this relationship is healthy and I am healed, such that whether I go to my friend and I find they have bought all these other things, I am not threatened. And this relationship, and I look at this Chama as a social capital, a place where I can build people who we can work with in this life. If that is how I am viewing them, then it is beneficial. But in terms of financial growth, I am very skeptical about the Chama aspect. It may not really grow, but maybe you can grow the social capital, which you'll be having many people. But again, if that chama has people who have toxic relationships, you may end up even messing your own relationship more. So I don't know how to approach that, but I believe that answer has been answered. I can see Amy is not with us. Allow me to answer a question I can see here before Amy comes. I can see a question. Okay, is contributing for barriers where there is no hospital bills necessary? Um, uh, Now, these issues, of course, of raising money, uh, I said our relationship with money has a lot to do with our uh, social upbringing. Do you know if we don't go for barriers in our thousands, do you know we will not require to raise any money? Because typically you need a coffin, maybe the pastor and family members, like 100 of you. Cooking for 100 people is easy. But when people come 700, the truth is that we will have to raise money to cook for those people, to hire chairs and tents for them, to hire public address. So some of these needs have been necessitated because of our social status and how we handle those things. Of course, it is good to support that family because you can imagine now 1,000 people coming to your home. So these things are necessitated by the way we handle our social events and how we manage our relationships as a community. Communities that are a little bit advanced or nations maybe in the West, if you look at their burial ceremonies, it is on very rare occasions that you will see 50 people, more than 50 people. So because of the capital intensity involved with those events, there is a way they have been able to limit. So our Africanness is what has made us make barriers very expensive, and also make even weddings very expensive. Because if really we were not having as many numbers as that, we may not have required to raise so much money for the same. So Emmy, I was reading a question that was in the chat asking whether it is necessary to contribute for barriers where there is no hospital bills. And I was responding that sometimes it is our Africanness that has made things very expensive. Nowadays, even Rurashu has become very expensive because we want to wear clothes that look the same, do African decor, get an MC. I mean, there's so much we are, and sometimes we don't do these things for ourselves. We do it for others. We do it for status. We do it to make other people feel good. Yeah, so that is, and that's why I think once we ask ourselves, why are you doing what you're doing? Then we'll be able to know of course, what to do. But now with that part of our society, maybe until we become westernized a little bit, kwa tutachanga tu. Amy.
Oh, wow. I think you have really opened our eyes today, Madam K. Thank you for opening our eyes. May those who have ears to hear, let them hear. I think we just have so much to think about, to chew on this particular weekend, even as we go and decide how to enjoy ourselves this weekend. Maybe it's important to just ask ourselves, why are you doing what you are doing? What is the motivation behind it? What each are you I think there's something wrong with my video, sorry. What each are you trying to fulfill? Because you told us, Madam K, today, I think this is what I am taking home with me, that you have to look at what emotions you are looking to fulfill. Is it pride? Is it fear? Is it greed? Is it comparison, which is where we have just learned that a lot of us have been working with this mentality of what came from our colonialism. Is it that? Is it envy? So just have a look, be very introspective. I think, Madam K, you have really made us just go back to ourselves, sit in a corner with ourselves, and ask ourselves these questions that have been very, very difficult to just come face to face with. So thank you for opening our eyes even towards societal things, ratios, baby showers. These are things that happen every day. How we spend our money, how we save our money, how we invest our money, how we relate with the money in terms of our intimate relationships as well. So we have a lot of work to do, but the good thing is this is work that is possible to be done. And Madam K, maybe one question that has really been coming through is, do you do one-on-one therapy? Do you do couples therapy? Do you do therapy for individuals who are not in the country? And if so, what are the charges and how should they get in touch with you?
Yes, we offer counseling services at Salem Consultants. We offer one-on-one therapy sessions on all areas: adolescent counseling, uh, uh, premarital, postmarital, family therapy, and of course, all these range of therapy sessions. It is normally good if you can be able to have at least, when we talk therapy, a therapy session may not be enough. One session may not be able to exhaust all the issues. So we are talking of at least a sessions, especially when we are dealing with things like trauma. We are talking of like 10 sessions. Per session, we charge, per session, which is 1 hour, we charge 2,000. We also do online therapy for those who are not near where our offices are. So you can be able also to find us on via Zoom, just like the way we are having this. We are able to have one-on-one sessions, Zoom, Google Meet, and these all other online platforms. Yeah, so we are available. We are available to speak in churches. We are available to speak in schools. We are available to speak to people at work, just to be able to become more aware in areas, in all matters, our mind. Because we say that the mind is the factory of everything that we are. I like it when the Bible describes that our heart, the mind is our heart. So when we talk about heart anywhere, we are talking about the mind. We are not talking about the heart that pumps blood. We are talking about the mind. So when our mind is healed, our life is healed. So it is in all aspects. It is in how we interact with one another at work, how we relate, how we grow in career, how we look at life. It is all these other things. So if my mind is healthy, every other aspect of my life will be healthy, including our spiritual work. Because sometimes even, and I remember when we were talking about trauma, I said, if we are not healed, and the reason as to why there are so many false prophets and false teachers and people who take advantage of people in our society today is because we have so many people suffering from trauma, and these people have taken advantage of their trauma. And they will explain it in all manner of things, from generational curses to generational patterns to witchcraft to somebody is against you and all these things. But really, if we were to heal our mind, and I am not elevating psychology over spirituality, I am simply saying there is a lot of interconnection between our mind and our well-being, our mind and our physical well-being, and our mind with our spiritual well-being. So yeah, we are able to offer all those services. Thank you.
How about
You'll be able to give a chance to anyone who would want to say something before we end. I can see our time has really gone today.
before that, Madam K, you please mention something about couples therapy as well, and then we can give it out to anyone who feels led to say something.
Yeah, I said yes. We also offer counseling for couples. Again, between 4 to 6 sessions. Premarital counseling, those who are already in marriage and would want just to better their relationship, or those who want to get into a relationship and they would want to understand each other better and begin from the right place, so that you don't have to struggle and you're struggling about my money is my money, and you give somebody your body, you cannot give them your money. It's unfortunate.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for that clarification. If anyone has something to say, kindly give us that information so that we can actually get in touch with you, or maybe get in touch with us on our social media platforms, Salem Consultants and Salem Media on YouTube. Anyone who has something to say, you can just take it away right now.
Good evening. Good evening, Amy.
Good evening, Amy.
Yeah, good to be here, and thank you so much, Madam K. That has really been a great topic of discussion. Actually, my name is Amelia. They call me Amy. Yeah. When they call you, I almost thought that I'm the one being called most of the time. Yeah, but thank you so much, Madam K. That finance is it's really a topic of contention, especially right now among young people. It has really brought in confusion, but at least with this, quite a number of things are clear and now understandable, and some of the people are getting into marriage and even more. Yeah, so thank you so much for this today. It's my heart. When it comes to finances are my heart. Yeah, so I'm so grateful for that, and we appreciate God for you. Thank you for the time, the passion. I mean the enthusiasm on how you bring out these topics and discussions. You can't even want to miss even for a second. We really appreciate it very much, and you're looking very smart today.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
all. Yeah, good evening. And apologies from Israel. He was not able to join in today.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
back
much.
to you.
I believe you will be able to follow us